And we're recording. Welcome to the DQ&Q Lifestyle Podcast with your boy. That's right, Marcus. And today we're going to talk about... I've got two I want to talk about. But we're going to talk about motivations. Motivations. Now, this is another word, just like vulnerability and all the rest of them that I talk about. Like this. To be honest, it's not really. It's counselling terms. Counselling terms are different to regular terms. They're different terms for different... Same word, different term, yeah? Or different meaning, should I say. So we see motivation. When we think of motivation, I think we mainly think about the gym, don't we? Or just getting up and doing something these days, like... But mainly it's about the gym, having the motivation to go to the gym, do you know what I mean? But then, you do see people like talking about, oh, I've got the motivation today, I can't be asked to get up and this and that, I just want to just chill in bed or whatever, or it's raining or whatever. But we have constant motivations. So these motivations, so talking about that, there's motivations to stay in bed. So people would think that they've got no motivation because they can't get up. But there's motivation to stay in bed. There's motivation to take drugs. There's motivation to not go to the gym. Like, we've constantly got motivations going on. So the motivation for not getting up is because really they've got a little bit of a pained leg. Do you know what I mean? Like, it sometimes gives them a bit of jip, and when it gives them jip, they just don't really feel like moving. Do you know what I mean? So that's the motivation. Motivation is to just rest that leg, to not go to the gym. Like, it might be because you're motivated more by chilling out and eating bad food, which so that makes you think that you can't go to the gym, because a lot of people don't sustain the gym. You might know a lot of people that start, or they start it once and just never go again, because people think to go to the gym you have to eat healthy. So they're right, Monday, going to the gym, I'm eating salads, I'm cleaning up this and that, I'm doing blah, blah, blah. But it don't have to be like that. You can still eat what you're eating and go to the gym. And then slowly swap things out. Like, you don't have as many chips as you do. You have a few less. You know what I mean? Like, you just slowly change things over. You stop drinking. So there's constantly motivations. So if you look at myself, like, the reason I was motivated to smoke weed was to escape my reality. The reason I used to like drink on my own at night is to escape my reality. The reason I used to drink on a night out was to socialise, escape reality, but it was a confidence booster. The reason, let's just say I went to jail twice, yeah? So let's just say the first time I went to jail, that motivation was for my reputation. The second time I went to jail, that motivation was so that I didn't get kicked out of my crew. Nobody was kicking me out of no crew. Nobody knew about it. But that was my internal working. So it's just the internal motivations that we have. My motivation for this podcast, I feel like I've got things to say. Like, I feel like I've got knowledge to share or experience to share to help people either move from the situation that they're in or not go down the route that I did. That's the motivations. There's constantly motivations for everything. To be honest, I wanted to start this off by talking about the YNW Melly case. I'll talk about that on the next one. So basically, that's just the basis of motivations. So let's how can we take this a step deeper, a step further? Oh yeah, so looking on the heat map again, of people listening, and I can't tell what country it is in South America, because when you go to these countries are written in their own language, or how they'd say it. So when you go over Belgium, it's like Belgique or something. Like, the role in that, you go over Germany, it's Deutschland. It's all switches every time. So like, I can't tell. I don't know. It says like Pera, but I thought Peru. But Peru's on the East Coast, I think, innit? Never West Coast. This was like what I would call Colombia. Like, I couldn't tell where it was. So there's somewhere in South America. There's somewhere in is it Seattle? Somewhere in South Africa, believe it or not, and New Zealand, and West Australia, Perth. Actually, I'll look up where the other ones are. But yeah, we constantly have motivations, like constantly. What else can I say? What else can I use as motivation? Like, can use anything really. It's got to think of an example. I'm trying to think of like relationship stuff. Well, yeah, that's it really. That was the quickest pod in history. But motivation constantly. Google it, have a look. Have a look. Understand what your own are. Like a lot of the times, like you don't even have to go deep on why you don't want to do it. Just be like, I think it's on Friends where it's like to play like a quick game to help him decide. And it's like Coco, Pepsi, Coke, for example. Even though I'm a Pepsi man. So Coco, Pepsi, Coke, beach or casino, beach, Monica or Rachel, Monica. And then he tries to do it to, Joey tries to do it to Ross. And it's like, who would you sleep with? And I've said a couple before, and then it's come to who would you sleep with? Monica or Rachel? Monica's Ross's. So he's just like looking like, Joey's like, like waiting for the answer, not clocking on. Yeah. So I don't even go too deep on when you're trying to look for what your motivations are. Then just spin it on its head. Just spin it on its head like, well, why? Like, is this something that I can do if you've got like a leg that's hurting? Is there anything I can do to like benefit it? Is it good to get a foam roller, rolling it? For example, always get your doctor's advice first. Stretch it, maybe going to the gym would help it, strengthen it. Like, you have to like kind of unpick because there's like, so a lot of times there's no reason for these motivations, they just are what they are. Do you know what I mean? And it's more through habit or through what other people do around you. Like, so you're just doing what they do kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So you're thinking like they think, it's not your own thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Man, let's go straight into self-worth. Because that was the other one that was tossing up what I was going to do. So, okay, self-worth, yeah? So the self-worth thing is what I'll be talking about myself, for myself, about myself. And then now, so it's for me to be focused on it, which I haven't even thought of the next step. So I've realised that it's my self-worth that's getting tapped into and why I feel like because I feel much better. I do feel much better. So that's what makes me realise that I have got it bang on. Because I was telling you before that when I'm like questioning myself, is it this, is it that, is it this? And it's like, it's not fitting. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, isn't it that, is it this? And then when I said, is it like self, it's like, boom, yeah, that fits. So now it's for me to fixate on what makes me feel good. Not just feel good in like a dopamine sense, but what gives me that sense of something, that sense of self, that sense of pride, that sense that I'm doing something. So this is one thing. Doing the pod is one thing that makes me feel good about myself. Makes me feel like I've got worth. It's all about what your worth is. We know what worth is, don't we? Like, what's gold worth? What's silver worth? What's flipping salt worth? Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything's got a worth. And we have too, but we have to know our own worth. A lot of people, especially on the road thing, have got low self-worth. Just a lot of people in general got low self-worth, but they don't know. So, for example, not to say everybody, but like, especially if they're trying too hard, like just rocking the fakes. If you can afford expensive clothes, you can afford it, and that's that. Do you know what I mean? But if you're going out of your way to to buy fakes, it's just low self worth because you don't feel good within yourself. You're trying to fit into something that you don't need to, but you're not really. It's all fake self worth because the self worth has to fulfill you internally, fill the internal gap. So let me see, what will I be doing? Because I haven't even thought about this, so you have to give me a second. So the podding is one. Rapping's another. Like, it does make me feel good. It just makes me feel good. Do you know what I mean? And just need to do as many feel good things as possible. Obviously, gym. But gym's a bit more of it's a bit of a standard, so it's quite low level for me, that, because it's achievable and I get results. Do you know what I mean? So gym can be a bit toxic for me in a sense, in terms of like getting a bit too fixated on it, and also like getting a bit grandiose because of size, throwing weight about. Oh, that's how it was. So because it was, that's how it can be. Do you know what I mean? So I just have to be mindful of that. I've had like a week off. I haven't been going to the gym that long, but I thought I need to have a week off because I need to make sure that everything's healed up. And because like I was feeling like my shoulders and my thighs and that. I wasn't happy about having a week off. I was supposed to meet them guys and do some weight Olympic lifting, but I didn't even like get around to going. I was gonna go message them, but I just thought I need to just heal up. I just need to relax. Anyway, what else can I do? I need to start going for walks again. You start running again. And the best thing about all of this as well, it packs out my schedule, if I've got one. Do you know what I mean? It packs out my day with tasks and things to do. So even that gives me a sense of like accomplishment because I've done something. Do you know what I mean? So it makes me feel worthwhile. Do you know what I mean? I've used my time worthwhile, so it makes me feel worthwhile, like I'm a worthwhile person. Even educating myself is the few things I'm gonna do. Um, like I'm gonna arm myself more at work in terms of certain things. Um, I'm just gonna use my time. I'm just gonna like better myself at work. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna attend more training. Then obviously like look up some things at home and whatnot. Look into my old stuff, like all that stuff that I've got on that thing. I don't think you can see, but there's something there still. I might like put it up on the Instagram. Everyone's gonna think I'm mad. But get to know all that stuff again on a deep level because it's been so long and I haven't used it and I've been using it, but it's not been received. So it's like, well, that's where the self doubt and my self worth got attacked. And it's doing stuff that you know you're good at, and it's not about knowing you're good at on like a Ronaldo, Einstein level or whatever. Like it's knowing that you're better at it, or just knowing that you're good at it. Do you know what I mean? It's like a secret, almost like a secret. For example, you might like to sing, yeah, and you might not be the best singer, but you like to sing. You know what I mean? So you just do that wherever you need to do that. Karaoke is one of the best ones because you don't have to be a good singer. Do you know what I mean? But you like to sing. That makes you feel good. Like we don't have to be like Mariah Carey levels or Ed Sheeran levels or whatever. Like we can just be us. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, it's just being all we can be. Like literally doing everything that you like to do to your maximum. You might like drawing, but your drawings might look like a bloody 12-year-old, like 2-year-old, whatever's done it. But you like it. Do you know what I mean? And it's all for you. If anything, don't show no one. Don't showcase this to anyone for people to criticize and bring you down a notch because that's what it is as well. Because if you ain't got people that are around you where you're showing them your 2-year-old type drawing and people are like, yo, do you know what, that's sick that I can see the beauty in it. Because look at Picasso's drawings. I think Picasso used to paint a certain way and then he started doing this, not surrealism, is it surrealism? Or abstract or whatever. I don't think he did that until he did that. And he did that to like get attention because in the scene, everybody was doing normal type drawings, like paintings, sorry, good paintings. And he just switched it up. I think that's what happened. So yeah. So some people can see beauty. You can see beauty in everything or anything. So unless you got a friend like that, show it them so they boost you up a little bit more. Not no gas thing, taking the piss. Honestly, enjoy what you're doing, or just don't show no one. Keep yourself makes you happy. You know the ones there. It's basically a self worth. Yeah, this is it in a nutshell. From my understanding, you need to treat yourself like what you need to do for you, what you do for you as a baby. So if you had yourself there as a baby, you know what you wanted. Like, so no one knows more. Like you, if you could go back and parent yourself, like in all the troubled times, or just in general, you could just parent yourself until you're 15, 16, whatever. You would give yourself know what you wanted. You know that you wanted that flipping Play-Doh and you wanted to make all this stuff. You want someone to make it with you. Do you know what I mean? You knew that like you wanted to like paint, for example, again. You knew that you wanted to like go bike riding in some, I don't know, some track somewhere, whatever. You wanted to go on tricks. Do you know what I mean? You wanted to bloody go up some mountains or whatever. You know what you wanted to do. So it's basically doing that and making that child feel good, that inner child. And that's what makes us like not just happy people, but fulfilled. Do you know what I mean? And it'll mature you as well. If you can realize what you wanted to do through all that time and take it serious in terms of like, oh, I want to draw this painting. Oh, I want to draw whatever. I'm going to draw me and my family. No, you can't even draw. It's just some stick man or something daft. But you've got all this, like that's what you wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all locked in a box. But be careful for Pandora's box just in case. You know what I mean? I always struggle to like say all this stuff because I don't want to give bad advice or the advice be interpreted wrong. We might talk about interpretations as well. Because everything's interpreted in life. We think we know English. No, we're interpreting English. Us English speakers. We're interpreting it just quicker. In more depth than we would interpret a second language or a third language or whatever. I'll get into that in a minute. But basically, that's what your self-worth is. That's for me what how you grow your self-worth. You do everything what you do to keep that child constantly happy. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what you do, activities wise, like all of that stuff. You want to go blasting round on a bike round Rubber Valley? Go get a bike and blast round there, you know what I mean? Do it late in the season, or get your own bike, go around at night or whatever if you can get on there, you know what I mean? Like, just do it, be careful. Just do what you need to do, do you know what I mean? Or go further afield if you don't want to see no one that you know, do you know what I mean? Just do all of them things there. And that's how you'd build your self-worth up. Do you know what I mean? No one can chat to you. Forget all them. Do you know what I mean? You know how to keep you happy. And it's not, forget happiness. Happiness is fleeting, but contentedness. Keep yourself content. Do you know what I mean? Being content is knowing, just sitting back with gratitude, like, yo, look at this. Instead of thinking, oh, I haven't got this car and I haven't got my house like this, I haven't got that. So sitting back like, yo, do you know what? Got a roof over my head. It's warm. I've got food in my belly. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna watch a good film in a bit. Got a telly, got this mic, got the camera, got the podcast recorder, like, got the DQ. Where's the end though? Need to get the end. Yeah, just being grateful for what you've got. You know what I mean? And just being, and that just brings contentedness. It's like, yeah, I'm alright, you know? Like, that makes you feel, life changes from being empty, barren fucking wilderness, just a desert, to being a nice, either luscious, vibrant, flipping, utopian grassland, or a nice built-up city like you've got. You feel like you've got, rather than having nothing, do you know what I mean? But yeah, quickly onto interpretation. Sorry for all the sniffling and this and that. I don't know where it's just kicked in out the blue from. Like, a hay fever, I don't even feel like it's that bad. I've just got out of the shower and that's it. I don't even know what to even say. I wasn't even sneezing all morning. And I'm all bunged up, kind of, it seems. Interpretation, looking over there, it's not right over there. But interpreting what people say, and that's how we can get things wrong, and that's how we fall out with friends. For example, partners, even start to dislike work because we haven't interpreted what's being said or what's being written. A lot of the time, the written word, not really text and that, it can be to an extent, but if, just for example, you've been in trouble with the law, if you get like a letter through, or probation, or like if you've had like a warning at work and you're reading it, it seems bad because how you're interpreting it, you could be interpreting it negatively because you don't know how it's really being said or what they're trying to say. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't back and forth. There's bits missing. We're used to like body language and tones and this and that. So it can be a bit like, whoa, really impacting until we find out. Like when we speak to a person and they say, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. All it is because this and that, we have to like, go down that like that route, that formality or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like it's like, oh, okay, it takes a bit of the edge off, but it's still going to be heavy until we find out what's going on. But yeah, we're just interpreting things all the time. And if someone says, no, I didn't mean that, that's not what I mean. But you're like, but you said this and you said this. That's how you're interpreting what they said. So you heard it, but you didn't receive it. Or even they might have not received what you said. You're like, that's not what I meant. I'm saying this. And then people start interpreting it and twisting it and this and that. And it becomes a whole mess. Because we don't actually understand the language. Even it might just be said wrong. You might have said it wrong, or they might have said it wrong. Do you know what I mean? So it's on the other person's. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like effective communication. I'll touch on that. Let me put that on my board. I don't know if I can read. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can read what that says. But yeah, so we're just constantly interpreting. But the language that we speak, we interpret quicker. You know what I mean? And that's that. That's that for this episode. Episode 36. Unreal. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you for all those that are paying attention. Thanks for all those that are listening all over the world. Big up yourselves. Different things will be coming soon. I'm just trying to think how to get it down. But you know me, I just jump in both feet, and if it fucks up, it fucks up. If it's alright, I'm just gonna do what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause this makes me happy. You know what I mean? Hopefully it makes you happy. You know what one's there? You get it. Hey, hello. But yeah, Marcus, DQQ Lifestyle Podcast.